This is the third time I'm recording this freaking episode. This should not have taken 3 times to record. Actually, over 3 times, because there was both separate recordings and I had to split it up at times. This should not have taken this long to do, if I'm being perfectly honest with you. All I'm gonna say is you need to hit the subscribe button and the like button. It's free. There is no excuse for you to not hit it. I'm kind of done with this recording at this point. Also, on the 15th, I will not be able to record anything new because I will be out. So by that Friday, I am not going to be able to record anything at all. So, hopefully I have some videos out and on the ready. Also, I have quick house commissions on Twitter. If you would like to get something commissioned by me, then please look at the stuff there. Without any further ado, let's actually talk about the stuff that happens before this current episode. So when it comes to this episode that we have here, last time we learned about the plan that Sona wanted to throw in when it comes to the whole thing with saving Koneko, and essentially it has to come down to me turning into a devil, which is something I don't necessarily want to do, but I have to do it because obviously I gotta save Koneko in some shape or form. But to do that, we have to also get to talk to Rias and kind of get her to put us apart as the Grim Ray household, even though that's a bit hard because Kiba just died, and so it's not necessarily something that Rias is super open about getting new members. But thankfully we were able to break the despair away from her and essentially had the chance to talk to Koneko. And while we were trying and seemed like we're getting very close to breaking it, something is also bugging her in a weird way, which is her mating season. She's kind of low-key in heat, so that's also something that's affecting the despair from being broken. So that's kind of where we are at now. Now, this episode starts off in the hallway, and essentially, my head is hurting once again. And you already know, if my head is hurting, there is some bad things that is happening. So essentially, at this point, Rias is just like, the despair is getting to you again. Look, I'll put a spell on you, and maybe that will suppress it, but it's not a real fix. You really need to get to the bottom of this. And so, after that, essentially, I went back to the house and essentially just started taking a bath because I'm not about to deal with this. This is just too much right now, and all this despair nonsense is kind of getting on my nerves. So I'm just gonna take a bath and relax a little bit. And so while I'm trying to relax, all of a sudden Blue pops up, and so at that point I'm just like, Blue, you did know I was in here, right? Then again, I guess it doesn't matter. And so Blue just kind of just be quiet to herself and then sits on top of the tub while I'm already in it. And I'm just like, I'm just glad you're feeling okay though. Well, I talked to Koneko today, but she didn't remember me. Can't help but to feel like a failure. And then I'm also just like, not to mention the despair is coming back. It honestly feels like I'm losing, even though I haven't lost anything truly yet. Blue, what do you think? And so, even though I'm asking that question, we already know Blue doesn't necessarily talk to people. She doesn't necessarily, do that type of thing. And so I'm just thinking back to myself. I'm just like, oh yeah, kind of forgot. Blue doesn't necessarily talk. And so Blue does actually open up her mouth, and she's just like, you're not a failure. Blue thinks you're okay. And so she basically strips down into the tub, and at this point I'm kind of freaking the hell out because I'm just like, why is your sexy ass in this tub? Granted, I'm not mad at it, but why is your sexy ass in this tub? So essentially I'm just kind of flipping out a little bit, but Blue just says, you helped when Blue was down. Blue wants to help you. And at this point I'm just like, you didn't necessarily need to do that, but I appreciate it all the same though, Blue. And so Blue pretty much is just like, Blue wants to mate with you. And I'm just like, are you sure? You really don't necessarily need to push. But then, right as I say that, Blue pretty much get close to my face. And I'm just like, I can feel your breath, Blue. And for once, it's actually not hot. And then as she's close to my face, Blue whispers, Blue loves you. And I'm just like, I love you too, Blue. And so at that point, she ended up kissing, and there was a really deep and passionate ass kiss. Like there was a bunch of tonguing going on, and didn't think it was gonna get that far, but it did. But essentially afterward, Blue pretty much got to the other side of the tub and bent over, and so she just says, "Please," and so I'm just like, okay. And so at that point, we were just clapping cheeks. Cheeks was being clapped, ass was being spread. We just basically did it all over the freaking bathroom at that point. And essentially, as we were about to hit the climax of all of it, it got really good to the point that Blue was just, you know, really about to let everything go. And keep in mind, this girl, for someone that is a virgin, she is doing an excellent job. I didn't even think Blue was going to do a lot of these positions and a lot of these poses, but she's doing it. But anyway, when we come to the climax, Blue just basically screams that it was about to go down, and essentially she screams the word release. And when she did that, for whatever reason, a crazy and unusual amount of pleasure came from both Blue and Jay himself. And so it was just a nice time, and we just felt completely drained and relaxed after that. And so we get into Act 2, where after the smashing of Blue, I ended up carrying her basically to the bedroom to let her rest a bit. And so I'm just like, I'm honestly shocked she could ride that good, honestly. Like, damn, Blue, when did you start riding like that? And then Ajimu comes out of nowhere, and she's just like, I'm surprised you didn't screw her sooner. And I'm just like, I know your ghostly ass didn't just pop in my house. Also, what are you doing here? And so basically Ajimu is just like, she's abnormal, isn't she? And I'm just like, what are you trying to say? So basically she just goes on and she's like, her powers, obviously. It seems because she was born into this world from despair. She gained the same power as that Shoko girl. And I'm just like, wait, you talking about that despair energy thing? Yeah. And so Ajimu is just like, whatever it's called. Well, you screwed her. Didn't you feel something good? Actually, better than normal. She released an insane orgasm, and you did too. More stronger than normal. Her other power is release. Not only can she just reject things now, but release things too. And now I'm just like, she has two powers. She has two money. She has two keyblades. It's all connected, really. And so I'm just like, but how do they work? And Ajimu just kind of be sly with it, and she's just like, you want to see it too, right? I'm correct. If I'm correct, I'd rather have you to see it for yourself. It's almost amazing how scary those powers are. All I'll say is, she and yourself better be careful with how it is used. And I'm just like, if that's the case, then we need to know what we're actually dealing with when it comes to these powers. And Ajimu pretty much is about to just head out and leave. And but before she does, she's basically like, by the way, you finally used one of my skills, 1000 arms. And I'm just like, what? And so she basically explains, you can use any weapon you can imagine. So have fun with that Keyblade warrior. But honestly, you didn't need it. Now she can destroy everything if she wants to. And that's essentially, after that, Ajimu just pretty much just left. So now we get to Act 3, and now we get to see and deal with the whole Zenobia and Irina whole argument, if you remember that. And so Irina is just like, how can you say such awful things about the church? And Zenobia is just like, because they're liars. You're too blinded by the faith to see that. And so Irina just starts walking away because she had enough of this nonsense. And so she's just like, I don't know why I even bothered listening to a devil. And so Zenobia just pretty much just sighs after she leaves, and Lamine just pops through. She's just like, what was that about? So Zenobia is just like, Lamine, I'm sorry you had to see that. Irina is just being stubborn about the church. She doesn't know what secrets they really have. And so Lamine just like, secrets? And so Zenobia basically explained the churches are meant to help people, show them in the right path. Nowadays, our church I used to work for, now it just keeps the offering money for materialistic things, don't help the poor and needy, and well, anything that you can pretty much imagine a church should do, they don't. And so Lamine just like, that sounds kinda awful. And so Zenobia just like, it is. And she doesn't believe it's true. Azia, even though she's a part of the Grimmery household, still helps the church. if you can find and convince her, maybe we can change Irina's mind. And so Lamine, knowing this type of story before, because she's used to doing commissions for the Adventurers Guild, she's all ready for it. She's just like, I'd be more than happy to help. And so Zenobia is just like, thank you, Lamine. She often goes to the park late at night, so you might need to check there. So, pretty much, Lamine did as Zenobia told her, waited at night at the park for Ozia to show up. And she was looking around for a little minute, but she couldn't necessarily find her in the way she wanted to find her. And so basically, Lamine is just like, she should be around here. But then, just as she says that, a loud thud hit the ground, and Lamine perks up and runs to see what it was. And then she just sees in the distance, Issei just leaving the park. And she's just like, Issei? And then she looks at the ground, and it's Ozia laying there. And so she's just like, oh my goodness! And Lamine just bolted straight at Ozia. And she's just like, are you okay? And Ozia is barely moving at this point. And you can kind of see what's happening here. Anyway, Ozzy is just like, hello, Lamine. I don't worry about me. I just fell. Yeah, that's all. And Lamine was pissed at this point because she already know what was happening. And she's just like, enough lying. I can put 2 and 2 together. Issei did this. And so Ozzy starts crying, and she didn't want to blame Issei for this and stuff, but she was trying to hide the truth. But Lamine ain't fooled. She's a smart lass. She knows what's going on. I have never used the word lass before. That's crazy. Anyway, essentially, Lamine is just like, let's get you somewhere safe. And so, with that being said, you would think I'm about to end the video right here because, you know, we did our 3 acts. But no, because originally, it didn't feel like it ended on a high note, and I feel like it should go in a direction where, you know, something interesting happens. I'm gonna change it up. So I'm adding 2 more acts to this, so you're in for a treat. So we get into Act 4, and basically after Lamine basically helps Ozia and get her away from, you know, the situation that she was from, she wanted to tell somebody about this entire thing. And so she was going to bring it up to Jay, but then she realizes and remembers that Jay doesn't necessarily like Issei. And if he finds out that Issei has been slapping and hurting Ozia like that, and what else he probably has been doing, you know, it will probably piss Jay off in the weirdest and most angriest of ways. And that's also something that, you know, needs to be avoided at this current point in time, so he could still try to seal the deal with finding Koneko. So Lamine wanted to tell Jay about what happened to Ozia, but he might flip out if he knows. So she asked a simple question: Jay, why do you hate Issei so much? And so I'm just like, why I hate him? He doesn't deserve anything. Bastard just takes handouts. In the first rating game, he let Koneko get hurt, and I hated him ever since. And this world still just gives him everything, when he hasn't even gone through real pain. But you want to know the one thing I can't let happen? From what I know, at least in my world, Issei is supposed to have kids. Well, you know who he's gonna make a baby with. I promised myself, if I ever get the chance to stop him permanently, I'll do whatever it takes. If I can't stop him in my reality, I'm stopping him here. He doesn't deserve those girls. And so Lamine, at this point, kind of looking at me just like, N-word, are you serious? Because she's just like, sounds like you were jealous and wanted some vagina from girls you know you can't have. And I'm just like, shut up! And so basically at that point, I'm about to go ahead and about to just start boxing Lamine. But obviously I'm not going to necessarily do that because she'll probably whoop my ass. But essentially, I was getting kind of mad at Lamine because it's just like, I'm actually taking this seriously. How dare you judge me because I want to slap Issei for having something that I don't. He does not deserve the best cat girl in all of anime. I'm telling you right then and there, he does not. But while we were talking about this and pretty much arguing, Shoko looked down at them and just waiting. And you're probably wondering, wait, if they're on the roof, how is she looking down? There's like a little building thing that's like a construct, you know, that's on top of the roof. like there's like the thing that leads to the roof, the door that leads to the roof that has its own little building on top of that. So technically, we're not even on the roof yet. Actually, Shoko's on the roof. We're just on the sub roof. Shoko's actually on the real roof. So that's so if you really think about it, is the roof actually the roof? Lamine didn't say anything about Azia, so because she knows how angry I get when it comes to Issei, she'll just keep it to herself for now. But as that happened, Shoko ended up kicking Lamine in the back of the head and sent her ass sliding and flying. And the poor girl was just out of commission at that point. And so I'm just like, Lamine! And so Shoko's just like, aw, did I kick her too hard? And I'm just like, Shoko! And so she's like, what? Gonna cry like a bitch? And so Shoko's just like, I came to finish what I started. No more running. And I'm just like, fine. And then, for whatever reason, because I know how to do it now, I ended up charging the despair energy within myself on some Dragon Ball Z nonsense. And so I'm just like, I'll stop you right now. And so Shoko's just like, big tall little boy, I hope you know who you're effing with. And I'm just like, you better know who you're effing with. And so Shoko's just like, oh, I think I do. For Junko's sake, you're good as dead. So Jay just get his other set of clothes and his keyblade, and it's about to go down. And then he just says at the end of this, I'm taking you down, nothing personal. And so we get into Act 5, and the shit is about to get real. So essentially, they get to scrapping. And so he swung the keyblade over and over, but she hops over it and kicks Jay in the face, knocking him back all the way to the fence. And so she tries to punch him in the face, but ends up dodging it, and she just punches the fence instead of his actual cute, sexy face. Don't punch my face, please. Anyway, Shoko is just at that point, she's just like, Indomitable. That means impossible to be beaten. That's my power. My despair. And so, essentially, I'm just like, wait, is she saying that that's like another power she has? So I'm just like, if that's the case, then shit, she's gonna kill me. I can't fight her. I don't know what to do. I just know shit from movies and games. And then at that moment, I'm just like thinking to myself, wait, this world is fictional, yeah? So maybe I can pull something from that stuff off here. And so Shoko gets ready to kick my ass once again, quite literally, but Jay stabbed the ground and flip kick her upwards and use Sora's combo finisher. And at this point, I'm just mimicking Sora at this point because I'm just enjoying it. I'm just like, back off! Back off! And so I just knock Shoko straight to the ground. And I'm just sitting there just like, had enough. And so Shoko gets back up and she is just smiling. And she's just like, finally. Someone is fighting back. I couldn't be happier. Let's dance. And so 7 minutes come through and it passes by. And my ass got sent to the ground flying. Because, I can't necessarily fight all that. Yeah, I've seen a lot of stuff in movies and games, but that doesn't necessarily mean I can pull it off myself all that well. Even though, it is possible, that doesn't necessarily mean I'm good at it. So, Shoko basically just sees me on the ground. I'm about to try to do something else with the keyblade, but she ends up putting her foot on the keyblade, so I can't lift it up. Also, I don't know how to necessarily teleport one keyblade from hand to hand, so I can't necessarily pull that nonsense either. So at this point, Shoko is just like, only 7 minutes and you're done. Pathetic. Though, at least you fought me. Everyone that ever really has fought me ran away, but you didn't. I'll give you a chance to say your last words before I cave your skull in. And I'm just like, trying to think of a way out of it, but then I remember there's one ability of the Keyblade that I think it's possible for me to pull off. And I'm just like, courage! And so Shoko was just kind of confused by that. She was just like, courage? That's all? What a waste. And so suddenly, the Keyblade brought a light on top of Shoko's head, and it was summoning something. So Shoko moves out of the way, and an orb of light basically appeared and started to take form. And it was like super big, massive amounts of energy that was coming with it too. And it took the form of a lolly. Someone that was having a strong connection to Jay. Someone that actually could answer the call to come and help this man. So Shoko is just like, what the F is this? And so basically, if you don't know who this is yet, then you will now. Because it's Mari Kuri, who is actually a VTuber. Please go follow her on Twitter. And essentially, the Keyblades somehow summon her? How? This shouldn't be possible. Because she doesn't belong in this universe, so that doesn't make any sense, but how? So essentially, Shoko was pissed. She was just like, always relying on your damn friends again. Who the F needs friends when I got power? Wipe that look off your face, cause you're done for. But Mari wasn't scared. She already knows that she can take down Shoko, and she just smiles. And that is the ending of this episode for now. I told you this was going to be a very good one. Well, I didn't tell you, but this is going to be a very good one nonetheless, because Mari is in it now, which, yes, I did get permission to ask Mari to do this, so, you know, this is also a really cool thing that she just allowed to happen, which, thank you again, Mari, you nice pizza-eating, knife-wielding lady. Anyway, essentially, this is going to be a nice little thing that happens, and hopefully I'll be able to write the rest of the story out, you know, before I go on the trip, but we'll have to see what happens. You know, yeah, if you did enjoy, be sure to like, share, subscribe, hit the bell notification every out. Also follow me on Twitter if you'd like to donate to the channel, Patreon. Also, if you like Kokatsu commissions, Twitter is also the main thing too. Look at the pinned tweet. And yeah, that's pretty much it for me. And until then, it's your boy Jay, signing off. Have a blessed day.